Well, imagine planning for a dream vacation for years, only for it to go all wrong just as you are setting out. Well, that is what happened to my next guest, Cragun Foulger. He was preparing to hike on the West Coast Trail in British Columbia when he arrived. However, his gear did not arrive because the airline had lost his luggage. He messaged a Facebook group to explain what had happened, and he was met with an outpouring of support that helped him start his adventure.
Really grateful. A lot of people made this happen, so thank you, everybody.
Cragun Foulger is that hiker. He joins us now, not from the West Coast Trail, from Utah. Good morning to you, sir. Let's start with some background for everyone at home. You did a lot of research when it came to planning ahead for this trip. You're from Utah. How did you end up choosing, let's say, the West Coast Trail?
Well, I've always been a lover of the Northwest. My wife is from the Seattle area, so we've had an occasion to travel up there quite a bit over the last 20 years. But as a hiker, that area of the country and that geography is just, it embodies everything that I love about hiking, between the ocean and old growth rainforest and scrambling and bouldering and just the views and the wildlife. And so when I was researching hikes in that area, the West Coast Trail just kept popping up again and again. So I started digging in.
And you ended up in a situation many travelers have been dealing with lately, losing your luggage, but you got creative. You turned to a Facebook group for help. Tell us about the West Coast Trail group.
Sure, absolutely. So the West Coast Trail Beautiful BC Facebook group is a group I've been a part of for a little while. And it's an amazing group of people that have hiked a bunch of times on the West Coast Trail, never have, people considering it, but it's just this incredible resource, or I guess in my case, the village that raised a hiker, to be able to get ready for that kind of a hike on just about every level. It is an important distinction to make that when I did let them know what had happened to me, I at no point actually asked them for help. I was just stating what had happened, grateful for all of their help for the last, couple of years, and that I might hang out in Victoria for a little bit or probably just head home and do it another time. So,
but they did not, stop there. They helped. What did they do?
Well, once I had gotten to the hostel that I was staying at in Victoria and I posted that information, the text started pouring in on Facebook, and one woman, Valerie, who was instrumental in actually reaching out to Michael Anderson, who's the owner of the West Coast Trail Express. He's been shuttling people to and from that hike for years and years. She reached out to him, he reached out to me, and I had a Saturday, I had one buffer day before I actually did the hike, which was actually, had I not had that, none of this would happen, regardless of all the great help. And he came the next morning and he picked me up and he took me back to his office and got me outfitted with all the major things you need for a hike, pretty much. And then the second person that picked me up in the afternoon was Wayne Aitken, who is the co-author of the definitive book on the West Coast Trail called Blisters and Bliss. And between the two of them, they filled in all the gaps. It was just up to me to refinance my home, donate a kidney at MEC, and get food and socks.
Sarcasm for everyone watching at home. That was sarcasm. Continue, Cragun.
I did not do those things, but I did have to take care of that myself. Everything was thrown together really quickly, and the results were absolutely miraculous and amazing. And I was buoyed for, 7 days by the generosity and the kindness of strangers So
let's talk about that trip then. You've got your gear, thanks, as you said, to the kindness of strangers, and you finally get to start this hike. What were this dream vacation of yours? What were some of the highlights of that trip?
Gosh, well, I mean, right out of the gate, just seeing things in person that you've been looking at for years online, seeing the ladder systems, the wildlife, gray whales, sea lions, bald eagles everywhere, like robins here in Utah. But Owens Point, the tidal shelves, the marine life, old growth rainforest, and then really behind all of that, I was going to go solo. And often what happens when you're hiking solo is you will tend to hike portions with other groups of people. But I got to become really close to a group of 8 people that we pretty much started the trail together, and then we would kind of ebb and flow together over the course of the whole hike, but we became really close, and they were extremely helpful to me as I didn't have any charge on my phone. So they would allow me to use batteries. If I came up a little short on food, they were there to help, advice, kindness, laughter. So it was, I can't say enough. It was, Natalie, it was magical. It really was.
We know this is an incredible pay-it-forward story. How do you hope, Cragun, you will take, what do you hope, pardon me, to take away from this experience?
Well, on a personal level, it's already, it's just helped me to be a little bit more kind and patient and compassionate, and trying to be aware of just trying to be helpful in your day. On a bigger pay it forward, what I've been wanting to do, and I'd like to organize through this West Coast Trail page, is trying to actually put together a pack, one ideally for a woman and one for a man, so that if this ever happens to somebody, there's something that's just ready to go, just kind of there, and look into myself and anybody else that wants to donate gear towards putting that together, so that somebody in the future, if this happens to, will be able to enjoy it like I did.
Well, thank you for your time and for sharing your story, lifting all our spirits up on this Friday.
Thank you.
Cragun Foulger, hiker from Utah.
Thank you.